Have you ever stopped to wonder, when was the last time you made a decision that was entirely your own? A decision that wasn't influenced by what your family expects of you, what your friends will think, or what society considers acceptable? When was the last time you truly listened to your own voice amidst all the external noise that surrounds us? Because there's a voice inside you, a voice that knows exactly who you are and what you came here to do. But that voice, it's been competing with 1,000 other voices, and most of the time, it's losing. Today, I want to talk to you about something fundamental, something that can completely change the direction of your life. I want to talk about the courage to listen to your own truth, even when the whole world is shouting something else in your ears. From the moment we are born, we have been trained to listen to external voices. First, our parents told us what was right and wrong. Then teachers taught us how to think, how to behave. After that came friends, co-workers, the media, social networks, all with an opinion about who you should be. And amidst all that noise, something happened. You forgot to listen to the most important voice, the only voice that truly matters, your own. But here's the truth no one tells you. That voice never went away. It's still there. It's always been there, just whispering softly, waiting for you to stop long enough to listen to it. The problem is that we rarely stop. We live in constant motion, from bed to work, from work to home, from one task to another, from one distraction to the next. And in this frantic pace, there's no space to listen to that inner voice. There isn't enough silence. There isn't enough stillness. And when, by chance, we find a moment of silence, what do? We pick up our cell phones. We turn on the TV, we put on some music, we call someone. Anything to fill this void, this silence that frightens us, because in the silence, that voice begins to speak. And it says things that perhaps we are not ready to hear. She says you're not living the life you truly want. She says you're following a script that isn't yours. She says you're wasting your time on things that don't matter, with people who don't value you, with goals that aren't really yours. And that hurts. It hurts a lot to hear those truths. So we do what most people do. We stifle that voice. We cover it with more noise, more distractions, more movement, anything to avoid having to face what it's trying to tell us. But let me tell you something about that inner voice. She is persistent. She doesn't give up on you, even when you give up on her. She keeps whispering, keeps trying to reach you, through the dreams you can't forget, through that restlessness you feel in your chest, through that emptiness that no external achievement seems to fill. That voice is your soul trying to guide you back home, back to who you truly are. And you know what's even more interesting? The more you try to ignore that voice, the louder it needs to shout. And when an inner voice needs to shout to be heard, it manifests itself in other ways. It manifests itself as anxiety, like depression, like that constant feeling that something is wrong, that you're in the wrong place, doing the wrong things, with the wrong people. It manifests as insomnia, as physical illnesses, as dysfunctional relationships, as a career that doesn't fulfill you. All of this is your soul shouting, "Hey, you're not listening to me." I know it's scary to hear that voice, because hearing it often means having to make changes, changes that other people won't understand, changes that might make you seem strange, different, rebellious in the eyes of the world. But here's a question I want you to consider deeply. What's scarier? Making these changes, or reaching the end of your life and realizing you never truly lived? That you spent your whole life being who others wanted you to be and never discovered who you really were? Because that's the stark truth. Life goes by fast, incredibly fast. One day you're young, full of dreams, thinking you have all the time in the world. And in the blink of an eye, you look in the mirror and no longer recognize the person standing there, because you've spent so much time being someone you weren't that you've completely forgotten who you are. So, is it too late? No. It's never too late to start listening to that voice. It's never too late to start living according to your truth. But the sooner you start, the fewer regrets you'll have to carry. Now you might be wondering, how do I hear that voice? How do I separate my truth from all these other voices that have been implanted in me? And that's a crucial question. The first thing you need to understand is that listening to your inner voice requires practice. It's not something that happens overnight. You've spent years, maybe decades, ignoring that voice. It's there, but it's weak. You need to strengthen it. And how do you strengthen that voice? Through silence, through conscious solitude, through deliberate moments where you stop, breathe, and simply listen. It could be through meditation. It could be through walks in nature. It could be through writing in a journal. It could be through simply sitting in silence for a few minutes every day. The method is not as important as the intention. The intention to create space so that this voice can be heard. And at first, it can be uncomfortable, because in the silence, all the things you were avoiding come to the surface. All the unprocessed emotions, all the unfaced truths, all the unacknowledged fears. But you need to get through this discomfort, because on the other side of it lies your freedom. Do you know what I've realized over the years? The most unhappy people are those who live according to the expectations of others. They have the right job, the right relationship, the right house, the right car. Everything seems perfect from the outside, but inside they are dying. Because none of it is truly theirs. None of it came from their inner truth. And who are the happiest people? They aren't necessarily the richest, the most famous, or the most successful according to societal standards. These are the people who had the courage to listen to their inner voice and follow it, even when no one else understood. Even when everyone around them said they were crazy, that they were making a mistake, that they were throwing everything away. These people may have less money. They may have less status. They may have a simpler, quieter life, more ordinary in the eyes of the world, but they have something that no amount of money can buy: inner peace, authenticity, the profound feeling of living their life, not someone else's. And that feeling, it's worth more than any amount of external success. Let me tell you something about society. Society doesn't want you to listen to your inner voice. Not because it's evil, but because it needs conformity to function. It needs you to follow the rules, to fit the mold, to be predictable. Society wants you to work in the same job for 40 years, even if you hate it. Because that way, you pay your taxes and keep the system running. Society wants you to buy things you don't need, to impress people you don't even like. Because that's how the economy keeps turning. Society wants you to accept a mediocre relationship because it's better than being alone. Because that way you don't question things, you don't search further, you don't create drama. Society has a very loud voice, and it's constantly telling you who you should be, what you should want, how you should live. And your inner voice, it's quiet, it's soft, it doesn't shout, it whispers. But just because she's quiet doesn't mean she's any less important. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Your inner voice is the only voice that knows what you truly need, the only voice that knows your true purpose, the only voice that can guide you to a life of real meaning. But you need to choose to listen to her, and that choice, it will require courage, the courage to be different, the courage to disappoint some people, the courage to let go of relationships that no longer serve you, the courage to change direction, even when you've already invested so much time in one path, the courage to admit you were wrong about what you wanted, the courage to start over. That courage, it's not easy to find, but it's inside you. It always has been. And you know when you need that courage the most, when you're at a turning point, when you feel that either you change now or you lose yourself completely. These moments are gifts. They are opportunities. They are life, giving you a chance to return to your true path. Often, these moments come disguised as crises: a job loss, the end of a relationship, an illness, a moment of profound sadness or emptiness. and we see these things as tragedies, as bad things that shouldn't be happening. But what if they aren't? What if it's exactly what you need to wake up, to stop living on autopilot and start living consciously? What if these crises are your soul saying good enough? I can't take it anymore. Either you listen to me now, or I'll make you listen to me. When you start listening to your inner voice, something magical happens. You start making different decisions. Decisions that make sense to you, even if they don't make sense to anyone else. You start saying no to things that you previously would have said yes to out of obligation, fear, or guilt. You start saying yes to things you've always wanted to do, but never had the courage to. You start attracting different people, people who resonate with who you really are, not the mask you were wearing. You start to feel a different energy, a lightness, a feeling that you're finally on the right path, even if it's an uncertain path, even if it's a path that no one else understands, and the people around you will notice. Some will support you, some will question you, some will distance themselves. And that's okay, because not everyone is destined to be a part of every chapter of your life. Some people were there for the old chapter, for the old version of you. And when you evolve, when you change, when you become more aligned with your truth, those people naturally drift away. And that hurts. It can hurt a lot, especially when it's people you love, people who have always been in your life. But you need to trust the process, trust that the right people will stay, and that new people, aligned with who you are becoming, will appear. Now let me talk about something important. Listening to your inner voice doesn't mean being selfish. Many people have this misconception. They think, if I do what I want, if I follow my truth, I will hurt the people I love. I will be selfish. But there is a huge difference between being selfish and having self-love. Being selfish means putting your needs above the needs of others without consideration, empathy, or care. Self-love is recognizing that you matter too, that your needs are also valid, that you can't serve as an empty cup. And here's the truth: when you live according to your truth, when you are aligned with your inner voice, you become a better person for those around you. You become more present because you are no longer internally divided. You become more patient because you are no longer frustrated and resentful. You become more loving because you are full, not empty. You can't give what you don't have. And if you don't have inner peace, if you're not aligned, if you're constantly betraying yourself, how can you truly be present for others? So, in truth, listening to your inner voice is one of the most generous acts you can perform. Because when you are well, you uplift everyone around you. And here's another thing I want you to understand. Your inner voice isn't asking you to do something grand, something spectacular that will change the world. Sometimes, yes. Sometimes your inner voice calls you to something big, to a mission, to a purpose that will impact many people. But most of the time, she's asking you to do small things, simple things, honest things. She's asking you to be kind to yourself, to rest when you are tired, to pursue that hobby that brings you joy, even if you're not good at it, to have that difficult conversation you've been avoiding, to establish that limit that you need to establish, to forgive that person, including yourself, to let go of that thing you're holding on to out of fear that there's nothing better. It is these small actions, these small truths that build an authentic life. It's not one grand gesture. It's 1,000 small gestures of honesty with yourself. And you know what happens when you start living like that? When you begin to consistently honor your inner voice, day after day, choice after choice, you start to trust yourself. And that confidence, it changes everything. Because most of us don't trust ourselves. We always look for answers outside ourselves. We ask others what we should do. We seek external validation. We doubt every decision we make. But when you develop that relationship with your inner voice, when you practice listening to it and following it, something powerful happens. You realize that you know. You always knew. The answers were always inside you. And that realization sets you free, because you no longer need anyone to tell you who you are, what you should do, or how you should live. You become your own authority, your own compass, your own guide. And that doesn't mean you won't seek advice, that you won't listen to other people. Of course you will, but now you listen through the filter of your own truth. You take what resonates and leave the rest. You no longer blindly accept anything. You question, you reflect, you feel whether something is true for you or not. And that makes you unstoppable, because no one can convince you to betray yourself anymore. But I need to be honest with you about something. This path of listening to your inner voice, of living authentically, it's not easy. In fact, it may be one of the most difficult paths you will choose, because it means going against the current. It means swimming against the tide. It means making choices that will make you feel alone sometimes. You will have moments of doubt, moments when you will wonder if you are doing the right thing, moments when the external pressure will be so strong that you will want to give up and go back to your old way of life. And in those moments, you'll need to remember why. You'll need to remember what it was like to live disconnected from yourself. What it was like to wake up every day feeling like something was missing, that something was wrong. You need to remember that the pain of growing up, the pain of change, is temporary. But the pain of staying where you don't belong, of living a life that isn't yours, that pain is permanent. And when you remember that, you'll find the strength to continue, to persevere, to trust the process, even when it's uncomfortable. You know what else? Life has a funny way of supporting you when you start living according to your truth. Doors that seemed closed begin to open. Opportunities you weren't even looking for appear out of nowhere. People you needed to meet cross your path. It's not magic, it's alignment. When you are aligned with who you truly are, you emit a different frequency. You attract circumstances, people, and opportunities that are on the same frequency. And things that once seemed impossible begin to become possible, because you are no longer fighting against yourself. You are flowing with your own nature. This doesn't mean everything will be easy. This doesn't mean you won't face challenges. But it does mean you'll face the right challenges, the challenges that are leading you in the direction of your growth, your purpose, your truth. And these challenges, they taste different. They don't drain you in the same way. Because you know you're fighting for something worthwhile. You're fighting for yourself. So let me ask you one final question before we finish here. If you only had one more year to live, how would you live it? What choices would you make? What conversations would you have? What dreams would you pursue? What relationships would you cultivate? What truths would you speak? Now here's the real question. Why do you need to wait until you're only a year old to live like this? Why not start today? Why not start right now, at this very moment, listening to that voice that has been whispering inside you, trying to guide you back home? Because this is the truth I want to share with you today. Your life is happening now, not tomorrow, not when you have more money, not when you have more time, not when circumstances are perfect. Now. And every moment you spend living up to other people's expectations, every moment you spend ignoring your inner voice, is a moment you'll never get back. Time is the only resource you can't get back, and you're spending it on what? On whom? I know this might sound harsh, it might sound scary, but I say this with love, with the intention of waking you up, not scaring you, because you deserve to live a real life, a life that is yours. A life that, when you look back on it, you will be proud to have lived. And this life begins with a choice. The choice to stop, to breathe, to listen. The choice to ask yourself, what do I really want? Who am I really? What did I come here to do? And then have the courage to honor the answers that come, even if they are different from what you thought, even if they take you in a direction you didn't expect. Because in the end, the only thing that really matters is whether you had the courage to be yourself, not the polished version of you, not the version that others approve of. but the real, raw, authentic, imperfect, but true version. This version of you, she's been waiting. She's always been waiting, and she's saying, I'm here, I'm ready. Whenever you want to meet me, I'll be here. The question is, are you ready to meet this version of yourself? Are you ready to hear the voice you forgot to listen to? Are you ready to live? Look, I know that the words I shared here today may have affected you. They may have touched places that were dormant. They may have awakened something inside you that you haven't felt in a long time. And if this happened, know that it's no coincidence. Your soul recognizes the truth when it hears it. And something inside you is saying yes to it. It's saying, I want this. I want to live like this. I want to be free. And you can. You can be free. True freedom doesn't come from having more money, more time, or more resources. True freedom comes from living in alignment with who you truly are. It comes from honoring your truth, your voice, your soul. And this journey, it begins with small steps, a moment of silence, an honest choice, a word of truth, a boundary set, a dream pursued. Step by step, choice by choice, you build a life that is yours, a life that fulfills you, a life that makes you wake up in the morning with gratitude, not with fear. And in the end, when you look back, you won't have any regrets, because you lived. You truly lived. You heard that voice, and you followed it. And this is the most beautiful life you can live. So, take a deep breath, place your hand on your heart, and ask yourself, what do you need to tell me? So just listen, the answer is there. She always was. If today's content resonated with you and you want to delve even deeper into this journey of self-discovery and transformation, I've prepared a special ebook that will guide you through practices and reflections to reconnect with your inner voice. You can find it in the pinned comments below. It's a natural continuation of what we discussed today, with practical tools for you to apply in your daily life. Thank you for being here. Thank you for having the courage to listen. Thank you for choosing your truth. Until our next meeting.